Let's get to getting. I'm Bob the Cigar Guy, and it is I Got the Smokes Let's Ride podcast experience with me, BTCG, episode 18. 5 o'clock has happened. Friday is here. Let's get in that car and let's get to living. Yes. Yes, and I am smoking something fantastic today. I am with you in the car smoking the Wagashi by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. This is the last podcast I'll be doing before we leave for PCA. Even though this is, when is this going to drop? Let me look at my schedule. I actually had a schedule of all the videos I needed to do. This is going to drop on May. This is going to drop May 2nd. We will have been home a long time, but I need to get all this content out so that you didn't miss anything. I mean, I'd miss you. I want to spend time chit-chatting with you, at least chatting with you. You don't chat back. You're very quiet. I do most of the talking, but that's okay. So there'll be a great change. There will be a great set of stories, hopefully new stories from PCA, and I will also have a ton of new cigars. I would expect. We come back with a bunch. Usually some manufacturers say, hey, you want some more? And then we have to balance out, did I bring clothes I'm willing to throw away? Because I've got no room for luggage in the airplane. I can only stack so much stuff. And you can cram cigars and things, but then they start breaking and stuff, and that just ruins it. So this year, Chief is flying out, but the First Lady and I are driving. So I will have room. I'm creative, like a drug mule. Well, I shouldn't have said that. But I will, I'll put cigars in Ziploc bags and put them up under the seats, the front seats. I will put them in the cup holders and the doors. I will put them in every glove box and everything. I'll do whatever I have to. Right, and so we'll be bringing home lots of new manufacturer cigars. There's supposed to be a huge influx of new people, new manufacturers coming out. Lots of boutique brands are coming back. Plus, Davidoff's going to be there for the first year. Drew Estate will be there for their second year since they've had their hiatus. Oliva's really jumping off. J.C. Newman's got a lot of new stuff. I hope I get one of them baseball bats. They have a new cigar coming out called the Tampa Smokers, and one of the Vitolas is shaped like a baseball bat. I just want to have one. I want to have two. I want to smoke one to review, and then I just want to keep one because it just looked cool on my humidor. I'm being honest. I am. I'm just being honest with you. But I'll be smoking all the new stuff, putting out reviews on it as well. It's starting to work out really well with me that I do a podcast after I've done a review, just to kind of knock it out. Because it used to be I would do a podcast or I would do a video, maybe 2 reviews and stop, and then I would do a podcast another day and then do that. But I found that with doing a review, like I just got done doing a Saka episode where I was smoking Wagashi. Well, you don't smoke the whole cigar in a review. On this one, it was how to cut and light the cigar, so I actually spent more time talking about it than I did smoking it, leading up to the cut and the light. And so I'm able to smoke this cigar as well, doing a double duty. Not that I'm running out of cigars. I'm not. But it's just, not that I don't like smoking this cigar off camera, because I do. But it just streamlines it, makes it easy. Right now, I mean, I have a list. If you're driving, don't look. But I have a list. Those are all reviews and videos I had to do in the past week. I come home every night from work and knock out 2 reviews. I would, on my days off, I got up here at 5 o'clock in the morning and I would knock out reviews. I was up here this morning at it's my day off, my last day off before we go. Knocking them out. The last 3 I'm finishing today. This is actually the last one I need to do to complete my list, and then I edit and post and put it on YouTube. So, but for the podcast, I will be smoking and reviewing a bunch of new manufacturer cigars. And then when I get done with the review, I'll just shut down. I'll come back on and I'll do my podcast. We'll do episode 19. 19, can you believe that? Man, I can't wait until we're at what is it? 26. Because that means we hit the halfway mark. And if I get to 26 without missing one, I'm going to be really excited. I'm kind of worried about 4th of July, making sure I get that content out. I'm kind of worried about we get the Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's line. I'm afraid I'm going to slip up and miss one of those, but I'd like to do all 52 weeks of the podcast. I hope you'll still be here watching. Our numbers keep dropping. They are. If I was easily dissuaded, I would be dissuaded. But I'm not. I'm built like an ox and stubborn like a mule. So we're just going to keep grinding. Now, if we do it next year, I don't know. Because it is a very labor-intensive process. Yes, Bob, oh, that's labor-intensive. You're sitting there smoking cigars. Yes, but to do this episode, it's an hour. Setup's a couple minutes, a little bit. Then I have to edit. The editing of the video and then uploading it to the computer takes about an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. So let's say we're at 3 hours. And then I have to take that and upload it to YouTube. And the way my computer's been running, uploading to YouTube and putting in all the information for that takes another hour. So it's 4 hours per. And so I have to ask myself, am I making good use of those 4 hours? I could spend those 4 hours with my family. I could spend those 4 hours on other content. I could spend those 4 hours smoking cigars. I could spend those 4 hours working on projects. I could do all sorts of things. So I have to weigh that out. And if it doesn't take off, if it doesn't this and that, that's fine. I enjoy it. I get to sit here and talk. And in all honesty, as long as we don't get banned from YouTube or something happens, my great grandkids can pull this up and they can kind of see who I was in different ways and see what I believe and what I feel in different ways, which will be really neat. It'll be a time capsule of Big Daddy, which is what they call me, which will be kind of cool because technology sucks. But it doesn't. There's a lot of things I don't like about technology. I think we've become the instant gratification, self-centered, it's all about me people. And I think technology has made it so easy that that we don't have to work hard to do the things we value as much. That doesn't make sense when it comes out of my mouth, but it used to be you had to go get an internship somewhere to learn how to do something. And then you had to sweep the floors, you had to take out the trash, you had to do the dumb people jobs, go get coffee, go get this, go get that. You had to pay your dues, and then you would sit and learn from somebody who has mastered their craft so that you could have that craftsmanship yourself. And then you could find somebody who is willing to learn to come along, and they pay their dues, and then they have ownership and respect for their stuff. You had people who study for 15, 20 years on a very small niche something. Egyptian archaeology from Cairo Street to, I don't know, Tutankhamun Lane. And they knew everything about everything there. And so when you had a question about it, there it was. Well, now you don't do that. You just type it on your phone. I do it all the time. I ask questions all the time. This AI stuff scares me half to death, but scary. But I don't value it anymore. I don't even memorize phone numbers. If my phone got lost, I know my phone number, and I know my wife's phone number, First Lady's phone number. But that's it. I couldn't call nobody else. I couldn't. So if me and Sarah are stuck and we both lost our phones, we in trouble. Well, she probably knows somebody. She's smart like that. But what's funny is back when I was a kid, you had to memorize. One of the things you had to learn at whatever grade it was, you had to know your own phone number and you had to recite it and your address. And I lived at 1373 Northeast 31st Avenue. My phone number was 3770844. They moved to Newberry to 7 Colony Road. No. We moved to 7 Mockingbird Lane in Newberry. And my phone number was 495-3425. So you can try calling those numbers. Those numbers are not my numbers anymore. So you can tell them, hey, did you know that's Bob's Cigar Guy's old number? They were like, what? I'm going to call the police. Leave me alone. But we had to know that stuff. If we had a complaint as kids, we wouldn't complain about something or somebody or rant about some feeling we had. We didn't get to just pull up our phone and instantly text something to the world and everybody sees it forever. People screenshot it and it never goes away. Your worst moment is captured before you thought about it. Shoo. I had a problem with somebody. I had to get on my bicycle. I had to ride all the way home. I had to go in the house. I had to see if anybody was on the phone. I had to ask permission to see if I could use the phone. Then I had to take the phone, dial the number on the phone, on the wall, and I had to stay there by the phone because the ear and mouthpiece was attached to the phone. Now, we had a long cord, but it was always tied up in a big old ball knot. And if you're old like me, you know what I'm talking about. And so you just have to stand there where everybody could listen to you. And so you had to vent your thing. And here's the thing, unless you had a party line, and who in the world had a party line? You had to call one person. And you vented to them. Then you had to call another person. And if that person was a good friend of yours, they call somebody else. And so 1 would go to 2, 2 would go to 4, and maybe 4 would go to 8, and 8 would go to 16. But this would take days to get this out. You get it in school. You tell people in school, it'd be faster to tell people in school. But it took a long time. Now, it's instant. All over the world. All over the world. Crazy things are all over the world. For instance, I was pitching a sponsorship for the Bob Cigar Guy channel to a company. It looks like we're going to have this sponsorship. We'll tell you about it whenever it's probably done or it's not done. We'll know one way or the other by the time this video drops. So you'll already know about it, but it seems like it's a done deal. I'm excited about it. But I was going through my analytics of the channel. Where's my notes? I got notes somewhere. Yeah, dead air is good air, Bob. Here's my notes from the podcast. We were on How About That Cigar just a couple weeks ago. It was about a month ago now. Of course, I can't find my page. Chat on my dang notes. Man, I had good notes too. I was impressed. I was actually talking with the guy. And the guy was, he was like, yeah, we want to go with it. And I said, oh, really? He goes, yeah. And I said, oh, I honestly said this, I didn't think it would be this easy. So I wrote down a bunch of notes about the channel. So can I read the notes to you because I did a lot of work? Not the smartest feller. I am not the smartest feller because when you get the deal, when it says they're going to go with you, don't give them an opportunity to change their mind. And here I am telling them that, well, I just kind of wanted to let you know all this stuff I learned about myself. That was when I was done with it. I'm like, that was weird, Bob. You're an idiot. And I said, yeah, I am. All right, so I can't find it, so I have to just remember the stuff that I remember. But we got over 9,000 subscribers. Hopefully we'll hit 10 this year. I really would love to hit 10,000 in 10 years. Been around 10 years. We've done thousands of videos. We have, if you took every minute since our first video dropped on YouTube, which is 9 years ago, 9 and change. If you took every minute and you added up every single minute, and that would give you a number, which I had written down. I don't know where it is. It would give you a number. And then you took every minute in our analytics of videos watched. How many minutes? It goes to hours, but I just broke it down by 60. Duh. So how many minutes have been watched since we started? If you take those two numbers, you will find that every minute Bob the Cigar Guy has been a channel, the equivalent of 1.5 people plus have watched continuously. In other words, if there were 5,000 minutes in that amount of time, 7,500 minutes has been watched. Pretty cool. That's exciting to me. We have insane engagements. All of our engagements are a lot higher than the standard average for a channel like ours. We are punching way above our fighting weight on those things, and that's not us. That's you. That's y'all watching. Here's the cool one, the real cool one, and this ties into what I was talking about. We have been in almost every country in the world. Somebody in every country pretty much has watched Bob the Cigar Guy YouTube channel, whether it be Chief Talk, whether it be Chief's videos, whether it be my videos, whether it be the First Lady's videos, whether it be anything else. Somebody has clicked on our content in countries I didn't even know they could get it. Now I'm trying to pull up my computer. Of course, everything's going to technically crap out on me now because I just talked about how much I hate tech, and now the people that run things have heard me, and they're like, ha, we're going to stick it to them. I don't blame them. I don't hate them. So let's see. Let's go over to here. Sorry. YouTube Studio. Come on, YouTube Studio. Give it to me. All right. Let's see. Analytics. I think it's under Analytics. Audience. Let's see. All right, top geographies. Overwhelmingly, it's United States, of course. But let's go to Lifetime. All right, so this is just going to give me the top 50, right? We've had 1.12 million 756 views in the channel. 96,627.5 hours viewed. So those numbers just happen to pop up. So I thought I'd share that with you. So let's see. We got the U.S., Canada, the UK, Australia, Germany, India, South Korea, Mexico, Egypt, Philippines, Spain, Italy, Sweden, South Africa, Indonesia, the Netherlands, Brazil, Russia, Poland, Norway, Ireland, Denmark, Japan, Trinidad and Tobago, Turkey, Vietnam, Malaysia, New Zealand, Thailand, Argentina, Romania, the Ukraine, the United Arab Emirates, Switzerland, Serbia, Hungary, Bahamas, France, Austria, Finland, Portugal, Qatar, Czechia, 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 Croatia, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Belgium, Pakistan, Syria, and Bangladesh. Those are just the top 50. It says please use exports to view up to 500 results. I would love to, but I don't know how to export. So it's interesting, right? It is to me. That technology has given me an opportunity to talk to somebody I'll never see. And they probably had to use the closed caption because they probably don't know my language. It's not my language, I don't own it, but it's the language I beat up really bad. I hope that if they only remember one thing about the Bob the Cigar Guy channel and the little bit of content that they absorbed was the message that they're valuable no matter what country they're from. The message that they're worth loving and they have love to give. Because that's a universal truth. But if they found me, they probably found some other things that probably weren't very good for them. And that's sad. And that's one of the things why I have issues with technology. Technology is great. Technology is wonderful. But technology sucks as well. And it wears me out. Me and technology don't get along. I am not good at tech. I'm not. I can build you a car. Give me a radiator cap and enough time, enough money. I'll build you a car around it. Computers, I hate them. I hate them. But I use them. Fixed the bathroom just recently. I'm still fixing it, but I did that floor. We talked about that a month and a half, 2 months ago. I had to watch YouTube how to do it. I had to watch videos. I sat and talked in the beginning about how people used to have respect and value for education because you had to go to school, you had to get an internship. Now they can just get it off the internet. Here I am being a hypocrite saying I do the same thing. But, I didn't study it before I got into it. I didn't respect the need for education because I knew I could find it on YouTube. So I just jumped in both feet and got over my head and I said, let me watch videos. So yeah, I didn't respect the educational process, but I did use it. But then I was hoping I could figure out how to segue this in. But then I'm inquisitive. That's a segue. Huh. You're never going to look at me the same after you hear this story. You won't. I was talking with some people at work just yesterday. And I don't know how we got on subject. I don't. But we started talking about... Oh, I know what it was. It was around last break. They were hungry. And I said, well, I've got a little piece of chocolate that has half a cup of coffee in it. Little caffeine chocolates. They're good, dark chocolates. So I got one of them. If you want that, I got a granola bar here. You can have that. I said, I got some Rogue here if you need one of those. And I said, I got this. And I pulled out my deodorant. I said, if you're in a pinch, you take a lick. And he kind of laughed. And then I said, without thinking, it'll dry out your mouth real bad. And I said, don't ask me how I know. And they kind of looked at me and they asked me how I know. And I said, well, I was an inquisitive child. I was sitting there trying to figure things out. Wondering about deodorant because I sweat a lot as a kid. I was a fluffy kid. I was. Fluffy and Florida sounds like they go together, but they really don't, because the humidity and the sun beating down on you causes you to perspire badly. And being a young boy, going through the trials of puberty, where if you think hard, you start to smell with testosterone odor or whatever that is, and you sweat. And so I was always sweating, and so deodorant was frustrating. Mom actually got me some strong deodorants called Mitchum. I don't even think it's sold anymore because it actually shut the pores in your armpits down, and it was bad for you because it was full of metals, probably lead. Probably part of my reasons why I'm who I am. But it was a roll-on. You know, that thing's always cold and it feels weird and slimy. It's just nasty. Gets on the inside of your clothes. But I had to use that, and that's the only thing that could stop sweating. I just couldn't put 2 or 3 swipes. I had to go half the arm and half down the side. I mean, I had to keep that sweat from falling out, right? Because that's embarrassing. But one day, I was sitting there and thinking about deodorant and sweating. And that the deodorant must cause a barrier to keep the sweat in, and then the sweat can't get out there, so it finds other pores to go out, and those aren't the stinky pores, and so it just kind of goes out of your skin and your arms and your legs and back of your neck and stuff like that. So it's like a barrier, a dam, a sweat dam. Sweat dam. Well, sweat dam. That sounds like a new cuss word I'm going to use. I won't cuss, but I could see that. Well, I'll be sweat dam. That's I got me a new word. Anyway. Sorry. So I started getting inquisitive about it, going, I wonder what the breakout on that dam is, because you put enough water behind a real dam, it'll knock the dam over, right? And the water floods out. So transpose that theory into perspiration deodorant. If you sweat hard enough, or the deodorant is thin enough, the sweat will push through, and then you'll have gushers of sweat coming out of those holes in the deodorant dam. Sweat dam. Sweat dam. Sorry. I'm stuck on that word now. So, I said, I wonder how we could test it. And so I thought about trying to roll the deodorant roll-on a saucer of water, and then trying to put a piece of paper on top of it and see if the paper got wet. I was inquisitive. And I said, well, that won't work because it won't roll on. I said, well, I could pour some on top, and that would work. But then the thickness ratio wouldn't be right, so I wouldn't know if it was right or not. And then I'm like, well, I could put the roll-on on the plate and then put water on top of that, but that's not going to give me any information because I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it right now, this is how goofy I am. I could have put the roller or the deodorant on a piece of paper, tissue paper, and rolled it on there and allowed it to dry, laid it on top of some water and see if it took water in on the other side of the paper. That would have probably been the best test. I just thought of that. I really, really just processed that in my head. Now I must go try it. Wow. Sweat down, sweat down, sweat down, sweat down. Boy, that word's going to be stuck with me. I feel like the Rain Man and Sling Blade. Mm-hmm. Sweat down. Mm-hmm. The perspiration cannot come out. It's got the sweat down. The sweat down is stopping the perspiration. I'm sorry. God dog it. But I had not thought about that as a kid. Stupid kid. But I did say, if there was an area that guaranteed moisture, continuous moisture, you could test it out. So the only continuous moisture I could think of is my eyeballs. I'm not putting in my eyeballs, and my tongue, my salivary glands. Slapping on the tongue, right? It's always moist in there. So, it's just a little bit of deodorant. It's not a big deal. You put it on your body. So what happens? It goes in your belly, right? That's not the smartest thought process, but I was inquisitive, not smart. So I took the Mitchum High Strength deodorant, roll-on, stuck out my tongue, and I hit it with the roll-on. You know what? It'll dry your mouth out like nobody's business for a while. You'll be scraping your tongue off top of your roof of your teeth, trying to get it to come back to life. It'll get up under your tongue. Makes food taste weird for an hour. Now, the Old Spice antiperspirant stick deodorant, that wasn't half as bad. The Brute deodorant, not antiperspirant, it just made your teeth tingle, and it just beat it up water. It really didn't do anything. It's just an antiperspirant, but your breath smelled good. Tasted awful. Yeah, I had to try it all. I couldn't just, it could have been an outlier. That could have been the one, right? So I had to try a bunch of different ones. Right. Yeah, right. When I talk about cigars, sometimes I will talk about it dries your mouth out like grape skins. Like if you're eating grapes, dark grapes, and you just kind of skin them with your teeth because you only got like 6 as your snack and you want to make them last. You don't want to eat it and be done. So you peel them with your teeth because you're bored. Yeah, I'm that kid. So, and to dry your mouth out, well, deodorant does the same thing. So, it's the truth. I was always inquisitive with the human body. You're wondering where this is going to go, aren't you? The digestive system really intrigued me. You go down in your mouth, you go down your throat, which is a narrow pipe, one lane, pretty much, for food or water. And then it goes down a long pipe down into a bowl, which is your stomach, which churns and burns and this and that. And then it goes into your, small intestines, and then into your large intestines, or your large intestines, and I think it goes to large intestines, small intestines. And then it comes out your chute, right? It's all pretty much a one-lane track, right? I mean, there's room to pass, but, but it's pretty much a tunnel, a channel, right? A lane. And there's a stomach, which is it holds it and it pushes it out, but it's a churner. It churns things up. And I always wondered. And it was because of corn. I didn't like corn. So after the dinner was about over, I still had corn on the plate. And you had to eat your plate. You had to eat all your food because you had to be on a clean plate club. Right? I paid for that food. You better eat it. We ain't wasting food in this house, boy. Right? So I would eat the corn and drink my milk or my water or whatever. And I pretty much didn't chew the corn. I just put a bunch in my mouth and just kind of swallowed real hard, chewed a couple times. And so corn would come out pretty much whole. Well, lima beans will do that too. And so I remember this like it was yesterday. I'm stupid like that. So I had a dinner with lima beans. Then the next day I had dinner with corn. Well, a day later, when I went poop, I pooped corn. Yeah, look. See, back in the day, people were posting pictures or there was it wasn't really posting pictures. There was these stories, right, about people would poop the face of Elvis and they'd sell it, and it would go in a museum and they get $100,000, or you'd see this or you'd see that, and it'd be worth tons of money. If you found a fruity pebble that looked like, I don't know, the Pope, you could sell it to the Vatican for tons of money. So I was always looking for people's faces and stuff and all sorts of weird stuff. And so poop was one of them because how cool would it be to be a 100,000 there? I mean, that was money back then. 100,000 there because somebody bought your poop. Now, I don't know how to contain it or save it or this and that. And I couldn't tell my mom, get a camera. I got to take a picture of my poop. She'd beat me and throw me in my room and send me to therapy. Anyway, so it was corn, no lima beans. The next day, it was lima beans. And so I started thinking about it. I said, am I wrong? Is it mixing up? If it puts in, it should go out. How did it flip the script? So why? I really meditated on that for a while. I really thought about that. It's funny, the Latin word meditate, or the root word meditate, is actually an agricultural word, which means to chew the cud, which is what a cow does with their 3 or 4 stomachs. They eat the grass, they put it in their gut, it ferments a little bit, they spit it back up, they chew it some more, and they put it in their other gut, and they spit it up, and they chew it up till they can get all the nutrients out of it. Because grass doesn't have a lot of nutrients, and cows are big and fat, so they have to get everything they can out of every chew they have. That's why they chew all the time. That's why they burp and fart too. So meditating is to chew on the cud. It is to bring it back down and think about it, bring it back up and think about it, bring it back down and think about it, bring it back up and think about it. I guarantee you might have thought that Bob the Cigar Guy would have conversations about cows chewing, burping, and farting. That's not out of my realm, my scope of ability. But I bet you didn't know that I could pull out Latin like that and go to the root word of to meditate. Right? Haha. I know a little something. That's about it. Don't ask me nothing else. But anyway, with limited resources, limited knowledge, limited opportunity, and a very small test subject, me, I needed to test out the hypothesis as to whether food travels in a straight line, or if it diverts. There's somebody inside there going, oh, we'll keep you for a while, we like you more. We'll keep you for a while, we like you more. Oh, I hate you, go away. And it runs that way. I want to know. And so with limited resources, a little bit of money, not much, $5, $6, $10, something like that. That's all I'd have in my piggy bank. A bicycle, a very small range. I only had about 10 square miles that I could go on my bike. I wouldn't let my kids go out of sight anymore, but back then we had a good range. We get out there and go. So, and the limited ability of me being able to test my hypothesis. I knew it had to be food, but I did not want to eat corn. And I knew corn worked, but I'm like, what other food holds up in your digestive system? And we had always been told, so I could test 2 hypotheses, or 2 theories. We'd always been told that if you swallow your gum, it'll what? Yeah, it'll stay in your gut forever. It never goes away. I didn't believe it. And I swallowed gum because that gum was sweet, right? Super sugary. So my limited resource, my bicycle, and a Little Champ gas station Jiffy store down the road. Off I went. And so I had a couple dollars worth, and you could get the bubble gum, the single bubble gums in the 1 cent or the 3 cent pieces. The 3 cent pieces are huge, and the 1 cent pieces are real small. And you could get them in pink, which is original. You could get them in purple, which is grape, which I couldn't stand. And you get them in green, which is apple. It was tart. I like the apple. And so I bought about $2 worth of this gum. And so I went to the house, probably 20 pieces of each. I went to the house and stacked up 20 pieces of each, set the pink down, set the purple down, set the green down, figured out which colors would be hardest to blend, because there may be some blending. I even wrote it out. Had a paper I wrote out on it. Should have done it as a science fair project, but well, you got to put pictures with science fair projects, so probably not. So I started chewing up, eating them pinkins. And I chewed and chewed and chewed and chewed and swallowed and chewed and swallowed and chewed and swallowed and chewed and swallowed 20 pieces of that big old thick gum. Then I got the purple. I wanted to do the green second and then purple last because I thought that would be the best color thing, but I couldn't stand the purple and I didn't want to have the flavor of purple in my mouth for a long period of time, so I flip-flopped it. I did the purple and did the green, and so I just ate them one after another, chewed them up. Probably an hour and a half went by. My jaw was tired, my belly was sore, and I waited. You wait. And dinner was coming soon, and I'm like, oh, that's going to mess up my study. I can't introduce any new food. I'm clean right now. I hadn't eaten all day. No breakfast, no Captain Crunch. So the time came. So I went. My theories would be, possibilities would be, A, nothing comes out, and now I'm going to die because I have no room in my stomach for food anymore because that gum is going to stay there forever. B, it all comes out brown. C, it all comes out in different colors, like one of them bouncy balls. D, it comes out pink, purple, and green. E, it comes out in a different way. Green, purple, pink. Purple, green, pink. It come out some weird way. Or my favorite hope was F, was that when I went, my butt would blow a bubble. That was in the theory. It was. Wrote it down and everything. No, it didn't happen. So, did my business, got up and take a look at it. And I'm not going to get graphic here, but it was a melange of colors. It's all mixed up. And I'm like, dang it. That means it jumbles up, which it does. It's in your stomach, it jumbles up. And then I said, as I'm eating dinner in my head, as I'm eating dinner, I said in my head, not eating dinner in my head and said something. That sounds dumb. I said, well, okay. But what if I ate it too fast? What if I didn't give time between the samples? So, back to the store I went. I told you I'm inquisitive. I'm not bright, but I'm inquisitive. Back to the store I went, and I bought another $3, $4, $5 worth of gum. About all the gum they had of those three. Even had to buy some of the small ones to make it even because they ran out of big ones of the purple, I think. So I had to buy a bunch of, no, it wasn't the purple, it was the pink. So I had to buy a bunch of extra single pinks and this and that, and unroll the wrappers and lay them out. And so I decided that I would do a 3-day test. 3 more days. Man, my jaw was tired. So the first day, I'd eat the first set, and I would wait 30 minutes before I ate the second set. And I would eat the second day, I would wait an hour between sets. And then the third day, I was planning to wait 2 hours, but that would take too long, so I actually went like an hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes. I just couldn't wait. And every day I had my findings to see what developed. And I will tell you, on the third day, the second day as well, the third day, there was color separation, but there was always something that would jump color. You'd find a pink and a purple. You'd find a green in a pink, right? God, I'm just sitting here now. It's 45 minutes in. I'm not going to redo this video. But I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, I spent 30 minutes telling people about me looking at poop. This is not a good look, Bob. Ugh. I have got to start writing scripts. I started off talking about licking deodorant. Now I'm talking about poop and gum and looking at it and doing case studies for a week. These people they're not going to talk to you anymore, Bob. They're going to see you at Walmart and they're going to turn the other way, and I don't blame them. They definitely won't shake your hand, and they definitely won't take a piece of gum from you. Okay, well, now that I've dug the hole and I'm swimming in the bottom of it, I know you're asking, so did the gum still taste like gum? I can honestly say, I didn't try. Are you disgusting? Oh my gosh. Who's going to eat their own poop gum? That's nasty. Ew. Shame on you for thinking that. Yeah. And I didn't blow a bubble. Kind of sucked. And so I kind of told those two stories at work yesterday to some brand new people that I'm in a new area. And they're kind of looking at me strange. I don't blame them. So, if you're an inquisitive person or if you have an inquisitive children, guardrails are very good. Don't let your inquisitiveness cause you to go where I went. New technology, kids don't have to do that anymore. They can just Google this video. They can research it on a computer. They can look at models of digestive tracts, of peristalsis. Peristalsis is the squeezing of the muscles of the food chain to get it to go from top in your mouth to out your south thing. Reverse peristalsis means you're throwing up. That's the technical term for it. If we didn't have peristalsis, we could not be in space. Because if we were a gravity-fed people where gravity falls, we could never eat upside down, which I've tried, and it works. I drank upside down. I tried it, works just to see. But if we were in space and all we had was a gravity feeding system, then we couldn't be out there because the food would never go down. We'd have to find a way to push it down or do some weird vacuum something. Bob, get out of there. Don't start thinking about science like that. I'm in a weird space today. How are you today? You know, I was hoping one day that you'd just kind of pull up at the house and honk the horn and say, beep, beep, it's 5 o'clock Friday, Bob, let's ride. I want to do a live I Got the Smoke, Let's Ride with Bob the Cigar Guy in my car. That'd have been fun. Now, you ain't letting me in your car. I ain't blaming you. I ain't blaming you one bit. Heck, I don't want to let me in a car. I expect that somebody will come up to me at a barn smoker and say, hey, Bob, you want some gum? And hand me a piece of that gum. I could see that happening because that would be funny. And I will laugh with you, and we will take a picture with you, me, and the gum. Please don't make it purple. I hate purple. I like green. That nice big 3-inch purple gum or green gum. They ain't 3 cents no more, that's for sure. But be inquisitive. Go out and do something. Chase leaves. Have you ever picked up a leaf and looked at it? Have you ever? I mean, let's be serious. Just take a moment. When you're smoking cigars, you go out there and you just pull a big leaf, a good sized leaf off a tree, and you just flip it over and you look at it. When I go into a tobacco field, and I've had the opportunity to go into a number of tobacco fields now, I will slightly pinch the leaf and feel the give, which is the graso, the fat, the thickness of the leaf. I'll feel how shiny it is on the top side or how velvety it is on the top side, and I'll feel the underside, and it almost has, some of them have a spiny-ish feel, some of them have a furry feel. I look at the vein structure, and it's interesting to me that the veins are almost the same, but they're not. The first counterfeiting protective measures of any kind of currency in the world, I think, but I know in the United States of America, came from Benjamin Franklin, because he would use stampings of leaves on whatever the currency that he was making. I forget what it was exactly. But you couldn't counterfeit a leaf. You can't redraw that same exact leaf. It's impossible to do. And so back then. And so that was the first counterfeiting thing. But if you get lost in the weeds and you start looking at those leaves and you start tracing the veins and you just allow yourself to just dive into it, and you really, really, really start to focus on those little minutiae, it's really interesting, because we can take for granted all the great stuff that's around us, the amazing stuff that we just don't even pay no mind to. For instance, when we live in South Carolina, right at the foothills of the mountains, we're in we're called the foothills. And so you can look up from different parts of our yard and see the mountains. And there's a hill, a road near us, that it is a grand view. It opens up before you. It's pretty majestic. And I don't ever take that road. I just drive to work. I drive home. We drive to Walmart. We drive to the mall or whatever. We drive home. But the first lady, she loves the mountains. She loves looking at them. She just looks at them and she's just amazed. And so when I'm thinking about it, we'll go that road for her, and she will just be in awe. And I just miss being in awe because I'm so busy and self-absorbed. We lived in North Carolina, and when the leaves would change, the first year we saw the leaves, and yeah, it was way great and wonderful. And then after a while, I just couldn't stand them because there were so many to rake up soon. She loved the leaves. Waterfalls? Oh my God. When her mom was still alive, they would go waterfall hunting. They go driving around and looking at waterfalls all day long. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, what are y'all doing? They were experiencing that which was around them. They were drinking in those moments. And so as I sit here, I don't do that as much. Sometimes I'm working on it. I'm intentional about it. Have you ever looked at a cigar while you're smoking it? Have you ever noticed it's not all the same color? It's got little blemishes and blushes and little, I'm not going to call them defects, but little character spots. You look at the veins and all of a sudden they're real thick and then they go thinner, they swap and they this and that. Yeah, I mean, I look at it for construction issues. It's great. It's a great marker for good construction. If you've got tiny veins in your cigar, that means when they cut the leaf for the wrapper, they cut closer to the edge of the edge of the leaf, which is dangerous because if there's any micro tears in it, it can cause wrapper issue. It makes it harder to roll. It's also thinner. If you notice, a leaf is thicker in the middle and it's thinner out to the edge, and not just for the veins, but as well as for the actual leaf material. So you got to be more careful when you stretch it out. But your subtleties and your nuances really run in those edges. It doesn't have a heavy-handed flavor. It has a lighter, subtle flavor in your wrapper. And so I look at that. And then I do that to just learn. But sometimes, and I'll sit here, I've been lost in the foot of a cigar. Before I light it, I will sit there and I'll pull out my phone and I will zoom in the picture to where the foot of the cigar is as big as the camera, as big as the screen on my phone, and I would just look at all the wiggles and all the subtleties and all the nuances and all the little details. It's just you can get lost in it. And then my science head, my little wondering head starts saying, well, I wonder if when I light it and I smoke it, am I going to get a faster burn here or a faster burn there? And so I try and scientificate it and justify the time I'm sitting there just being in awe. But the most I'm in awe of is the First Lady. I can study her all day long. When God made creations, he took a little extra time with her. And when God was working on his patience, he gave a little extra time to me because he was patient with me, because I don't deserve a lot, and definitely I graded up when I got married. First Lady, not so much. She settled a little bit, but I am thankful and I am blessed. That is for sure. But we have 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let us recap. Don't look at your poop. Don't eat bubble gum and look at it in the toilet. Do not expect if you eat tons and tons of bubble gum that you're going to blow bubbles out of anything but your mouth. It does not stay in there till you die. And by the way, watermelon seeds will not grow in your belly. I did that to my sister. I didn't do it to me. I wasn't going to die, you know. God, I'm a jerk. Deodorant is a sweat down, sweat down, sweat down, sweat down. Next time you got to use a bad word, you stub your toe, you something like this. I think you can get away with saying sweat damn and not get in trouble. Because there's no kids in here. You better not be a kid in here. You better not be over 20, under 21. If you are, get out of here. Wait till you turn old enough to be here. You don't need to be about this stuff. It's not your time yet. Wait your time. Technology sucks, but technology's great. People don't value education. Neither do I. But I use it. Watch the whole YouTube video before you fix something, because they may have screwed up and then fix it in the edits. And then you screwed it up too because you didn't watch the whole thing. Watch the whole video. Watch more than one video. Don't watch a cooking video by a guy who's fixing an engine. Don't watch an engine video by somebody who's cooking a cake. They may be good at both, but there's a good chance they're not. That's a fact. Find good cigar reviewers if you like cigar review channels. Mine is not. Chief is great. First Lady's awesome. But me, yeah. Go find you some great people. There's lots of great people out there. Smoke great cigars. Live a great life. That's a fact. You only get it once. Make it worth it. Be curious. Experiment. Use guardrails. Live a great life. Leave a legacy. You will be remembered. It's up to you how. You make an impact in people's lives. It's up to you how. I have faith in you. I believe in you. I know you're the best you that has ever been. You are enough. You are valuable. And you're about to click off this video if you're still watching, because we have less than 50 seconds. So cut the car off, put her in park. Do that in reverse. Put her in park, then cut the car off. Open that door, get out, take a deep breath, shut it. Get in the house and start living. Love those people that love you. Let them love you back. If you ain't got anybody to go in the house to right now, know that I love you. I do. And this Wagashi, Wagashi sure is good. And I'm down to, shoo, these seconds take forever. 10 seconds. I mean, you'd think seconds would be quick, but they're not. Now we're down to 4. So I'll see you later. I love you. Drive safe. Later, Tater.